Very good evening to you and welcome to the Global News and Atlantic Television Network. Well, let's take a look at our headlines. Wike says he will not hinder Assembly constitutional duties. INEC inaugurates 2027 election project. Tinubu celebrates Osui Day at 90. Stock market investors lose 167 billion naira in NGX. Zelensky says troops not surrounded in Cox region. Chelsea beat Man City in Women's League Cup final. Chloe Bailey fuels breakup rumors with Burna Boy. And now the news in details. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has said he will not stop the River State House of Assembly from performing its constitutional duties. Wike said he foresaw the current political crisis in the state and advised his successor, Governor Siminalayi Fubara, to take that route, but the latter refused, surrounding himself with people who are ingrates. Wike stated these during a Thanksgiving/civic reception held on Saturday in Abalama in Asari Toru local government area of River State by some Ijaw stakeholders under the aegis of No Associates Calabari. He berated the governor for withholding the salaries and allowances of the Martin Amebule-led 27 lawmakers because those supporting him told him nothing would happen. The immediate past governor said his only sin was because he told the governor to ensure that he took care of those who supported him and worked for his emergence, and not to abandon them when he emerged. While nothing, many of the projects in the state now, including the Ring Road, were initiated by him and handed over to the governor to endear himself to the Rivers people. He challenged the governor to mention one project that he initiated. Wike expressed doubts about Siminalayi Fubara's chances of success as governor, stating that Fubara's administration is doomed from the start. Wike claimed that Fubara has surrounded himself with individuals who do not have the state's best interests at heart. According to Wike, these individuals had previously sought the position he gave to Fubara but were rejected. Wike also marked Fubara, saying he's already 2-0 down due to the Supreme Court's ruling. This ruling requires Fubara to represent the 2025 budget to the Martin Amebule-led 27 lawmakers and reconduct the local government polls in the state. Minister of State Petroleum, Oil, Heineken Lokbobiri has warned all communities in the Niger Delta region over the incessant crises that are robbing the communities of development. According to him, the infighting and litigation arising from the 3% Host Community Development Trust Fund have stalled development in several oil communities. Lokbobiri, who stated this in Yanagwa during the Kefeso Stakeholders Forum with the theme Envisioning Sustainable Community Development in Niger Delta Host Communities, identifying challenges in actualizing the PIA paradigm shift. Noted that the Petroleum Industry Act was enacted to promote stability in the oil and gas sector. Speaking to a cross-section of stakeholders from Koluama, Ezetu, Fishtown, Ekeni, Sangana, Ogbobiri, Opu Okumbiri and Furumpa in Brass and Southern Niger local government areas, he called for an end to crisis so that host communities can maximize the benefits of the funds. He disclosed that over 300 billion euros, which should have been used for the development of the oil communities, is trapped because of several cases of litigation. Lokbobiri stated that as part of actualizing the mandate given to him by President Bola Tinubu, he is using the forum to appeal to all communities to sheath their swords and allow development to flourish in the communities. He hinted that he would soon convene a stakeholder engagement with all communities in all producing states to preach the message of peace. Lokbobiri, while recommending the Kefeso model to all communities, applauded first E&P for being a strategic partner. Chief Judge of Akwa Ibom State, Justice Ekaite Fabian Obot, has ordered the release of 55 inmates across the 3 custodial centers in the state. A breakdown of the pardoned inmates showed that 4 were released from Ikorobasi, 2 from Ekiti, 11 from Ikotekbene, while 38 regained freedoms from the Uyo Custodial Center. The inmates were released during Justice Fabian Obot's official visits to the custodial facilities across the 3 senatorial districts, which began on Wednesday and ended on Friday. The Chief Judge, who went through the case files of the inmates during a special session, observed that most of them had committed minor offenses and spent more time in custody than the required sentence if found guilty of the crimes. She therefore released some on compassionate and health grounds, while others were released due to a lack of diligent prosecution. One of the released inmates at Ikorekbene Custodial Center, Friday Okoro, had been in custody for over 3 years without trial for stealing his cousin's coconuts. Justice Fabian Obot urged the released inmates to turn a no leave and shun all acts that might bring them back to the center. Well, Anambra State Commandant of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has organized refresher course on weapon handling for its personnel. During the exercise, the State Commandant, Maku Olatunde, stressed the importance of correct and safe weapon handling for all personnel, warning that any slightest safety breach can have devastating consequences, resulting in casualties. In a press statement on Saturday, the command's head, Media and Tactical Operations, Okadibo Edwin, said the refresher course was organized by the command to upskill its personnel's marksmanship and weapon handling skills. He said the training organized by the command aimed to achieve the overall goals of the Commandant's General, Dr. Ahmed Audi, to have well-positioned, professional, gallant, and skilled civil defendants. The one-day refresher courses exposed participants to drills on firing positions, basic use of firearms, and fundamental principles of marksmanship, among others. Federal Road Safety Corps has advised prospective drivers, on the importance of attending accredited driving schools and comprehending road signs and the highway code. The sector commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps in Oyo State advised while speaking with newsmen in Ibadan on Saturday. Allo said drivers who had not attended driving schools would find it difficult to identify road signs and adhere to their instructions. The sector commander added that the Corps Transport Safety Office has been conducting special training for drivers of fleet companies operating at least 5 vehicles. She said the intensive training focused on enlightening participants on the rules and regulations guiding highway driving, including the effective use of road signs while driving. The Road Safety Boss also emphasized the need for motorists to acquire the Nigeria Highway Code. According to her, the code represents a standard of reasonable behavior expected to road users, drivers, pedestrians, and motorcyclists to ensure road safety. Well, Kano State Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General Barrister Haruna Isa Dederi has cleared air that the ruling of the Court of Appeal, Abuja Division on the state emirship tangle did not in any way invalidate the reinstatement of Muhammadu Sanusi II as the 16th Emir of Kano. Dederi declared that having passed the landmark verdict on January 10, 2025, that reaffirmed the power of the Kano State government to reappoint Sanusi, it is impossible for the Court of Appeal to set aside or quash its own decision on the same matter. The Attorney General made the position known to journalists while reacting to Friday ruling of the Appellate Court on the application for stay of execution filed by Alhaji Aminu Baba Dang Angundi. One of the kingmakers loyal to the 15th Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayaro, pending determination of the appeal at the Apex Court. According to the Dederi, the matter is functua officio, adding that only the Supreme Court has the power to set aside the decision of the appeal court handed by Justice Mohammed Mustafa on January 10, 2025. It will be recalled that on January 10, 2025, a 3-member panel of Court of Appeal, Abuja Division, led by Justice Mohammed Mustafa, set aside the judgment of Justice A. Liman of the Federal High Court, Kano, which nullified the actions taken by the Kano State government pursuant to the Kano State Emirate Council Repeal Law 2024, including the appointment of Sanusi Lamido Sanusi as the 16th Emir of Kano. Air component of Operation Fansan Yama has neutralized over 20 terrorists in airstrikes that decimated notorious bandit hideouts in Onguar Goga Hill Forest in Faskari local government area of Katsina State. The Deputy Director of Public Relations and Information Group Captain Kabiru Ali, Nigerian Air Force, disclosed these in a statement on Saturday in Abuja. Ali stated that the airstrikes executed in the early hours of Thursday preceded careful and actionable intelligence. According to him, the NAF advanced purposeful lethality destroyed the fortified camps of notorious bandits kingpins Gero, Alhaji and Alhaji Riga, thus neutralizing over 20 criminals, with additional casualties reported in the surrounding rocky hills. He added that the airstrikes have decisive impact on the criminals, even as the assessment of the full extent of the damage is still ongoing. He said their elimination marks a major breakthrough in the ongoing military campaign to restore peace in the Northwest. Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has arrested 5 suspects for pipeline vandalism and other offenses in Bauchi State. The Commandant Oloyede Oyerinde disclosed these on Saturday while parading the suspects in Bauchi. Oyerinde said operatives of the Corps apprehended the suspects for criminal misappropriation, rape, and theft in different locations across the state. According to him, the operatives nabbed 2 suspects for motorcycle theft at a lodge in Magama, Gumau, Toro local government area of the state. Oyerinde said the Corps arrested 1 suspect on March 7 for alleged pipeline vandalism and illegal extraction of kerosene in Alkaleri. He added that on February 26, operatives of the Corps in Alkaleri detained a 38-year-old man named withheld for allegedly raping a 10-year-old girl. He said the cops on March 4 detained a 22-year-old man for siphoning diesel from a 150 kVA generator meant for powering street lights in Bauchi metropolis. Earlier, they said the suspects would be charged to court upon completion of investigations. While reiterating commitments to protect critical infrastructure, Oyerinde urged residents to cooperate with security agencies to protect lives and property. Notorious kidnapper and armed robber identified as Abdullahi, also known as Honor, has been neutralized in a joint security operation involving the Nasarawa State Police Command, the Nigerian Army, and local vigilante groups in Akwanga, Nasarawa State. The operation took place on March 14, 2025 at about 10 p.m. when security operatives tracked down the suspects near the Akwanga Central Marks. According to police reports made available to journalists in Lafia, Nasarawa State Capital, by SP Raham Nansel, the command spokesperson said the suspects attempted to escape on a motorcycle but was fatally shot after resisting arrest. Nansel stated that one accomplice managed to escape with gunshot wounds and security agencies have launched a manhunt to track him down. He added that the body of the deceased suspect has been deposited at Akwanga General Hospital mortuary for a post-mortem examination. He also warned criminals in the state to desist from illegal activities or face decisive action from law enforcement. The statement reads, "The police urged members of the public to remain vigilant and report any suspicious activities to security agencies." You're watching the Global News in Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back after this short break. To stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching the Global News in Atlantic Television Network. And now to the rest of our stories. Our President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Professor Gabriel Osuide, an academic, pharmacist and public health icon, as he celebrates his 90th birthday anniversary. Osuide's contribution to pharmaceutical education, drug regulation and public health in Nigeria are unparalleled. The president said in a statement on Saturday by Mr. Bayo Onanuga, his spokesman. Tinubu said Osuide's work in establishing the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control and his role in developing the pharmacy education curriculum at Ahmadu Bello University and the University of Benin were a few examples of his achievements. The president commended Osude's dedication to strengthening Nigeria's drug regulatory framework, fostering excellence in pharmaceutical sciences, and mentoring generations of professionals. According to him, Osude has helped to position Nigeria as a leader in pharmaceutical sciences and public health innovation. Presidency has stated that President Bola Tinubu is not focused on the 2027 election. Tinubu's special advisor on media and public communications, Sunday Dari, said the president is currently concerned and focused on his economic policies that would improve the lives of Nigerians. Posting on his X page, Dari said Tinubu is concerned with the long-term impact of his policies than political maneuvering ahead of 2027. His comment is coming amid moves to birth a political coalition that is believed would give Tinubu a run for his money in 2027. Former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai recently visited some top leaders in Nigeria following his criticisms of the All Progressives Congress (APC). After his visits, El-Rufai defected from APC to the Social Democratic Party amid moves to intensify the birth of the coalition. Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pat, has assured that Nigeria is doing everything to address all funding and policies gaps in order to tackle the challenges in the nation's healthcare system, especially in the face of the cut in funding by the United States. Pat stated this during an interactive session with the House Committee on AIDS, Tuberculosis and Malaria in Abuja. He informed that although the U.S. decision was sudden, its impact was reduced as a result of the various measures put in place earlier by the federal government through policies and interventions. He explained that what helped the country was it has already initiated many programs and interventions that have started yielding results in the healthcare sector through collaboration between the federal, state, and local governments in the country. I think that most have been in place, and thankfully the budget process has started. And so with that understanding, when this shift was announced, we then went in once and did a very thorough bottom-up analysis like task force, technical government comprising all our major agencies, NACA, public health, air program, TB program, all of the programs that are relevant to what will take for us to fill the gap.
We have corralled, we have signed compact, and we're working hand in hand with states and local governments. But the resources that the federal government is investing is not the totality. All levels of government, whether it's on malaria or HIV or TB or infectious disease or primary health care, all levels of government have to pull their weights so that we achieve. So just as you are focusing on this at the federal legislature, I also urge our state houses of assemblies and our elected local government levels to weigh in, because it's the three levels of government that will make this health system be transformed in the direction that the president has laid out, which is to build the human capital that will see to the growth and prosperity of this country. If you look at the spending on health in Nigeria, we're not spending enough for the population, and there are many comparators. But for every, let's say, 1,000 naira that we spend, total health expenditure, about 100 naira will come from external parties, about 300 naira will come from all levels of government, and 60 naira is coming from private sources, households, and out of pocket. So the external component of our total health spend is less than 10%, is 10% or less of the total spending on health.
In his address earlier, Chairman of the committee, Honorable Amobi Godwin Oga, said the committee is meeting with the minister in order to be on the same page with its ministry, with the minister, and to ensure that programs and projects relating to HIV and AIDS, tuberculosis, leprosy, and malaria are implemented seamlessly without bottlenecks because of their critical importance in saving the lives of Nigerians. He also called for increased domestic funding and less dependence on foreign funding for our health system, especially after the withdrawal of financial support by the U.S. government towards funding for African health systems. Ogawu had earlier advocated for the creation of a healthcare sector trust fund to take care of eventualities and gaps in funding, reiterated the call, saying a lot of countries in Africa are struggling at this moment. As part of its early preparations for the 2027 general elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission has inaugurated the Election Projects Plan Committee to oversee the strategic framework for the conduct of the polls. The inaugural meeting of the committee took place during the week in Abuja, chaired by Professor Rhoda H. Gumos. The committee is tasked with developing a comprehensive roadmap to ensure a seamless electoral process. Its mandate includes reviewing the terms of reference, developing a work plan, establishing subcommittees, designing an elections project plan template, and setting submission timelines for planning documents. Other national commissioners present at the inauguration included Kenneth Ukiagu, Chair, Tenders Board Member, Dr. Baba Bila, Chairman, EOLC Member, Sam Olumekum, Chairman as well, EPMC Member, Professor Abdullahi Abduzuru, Chairman, BEI Member. Speaking during the event, Professor Gumos emphasized the importance of early planning in strengthening Nigeria's electoral process. She urged the committee members to discharge their responsibilities diligently to uphold electoral integrity and transparency. We'll go on a short break. When we return, we'll take on business news. Just stay with us.
Aha! Is there a
Bro, I dey tell you, this match 3-0.
Okay.
If I win you, something will come out.
Don't play with me. Fast ball, fast ball. Ah, you know what? You go shot
Bro.
you. Now we got this man.
Keep the banter going with Glow Borrow Me Credit or Data. Dial star 303 hash to borrow airtime or data and pay later.
Is it ready?
Go on, no one Only one thing I did it.
Okay.
Power your relentless ambition with ultra high speed data. Glow Unlimited.
Thanks for staying with us. Up next is business news. Investors in the Nigerian Exchange Limited suffered losses amounting to 167 billion naira on Friday. In contrast, the United States stock market recorded historic gains. After the close of business at the NGX on Friday, market capitalization declined by 0.25%. The bearish trend at NGX is caused by a wave of sell-offs and dampened investor confidence, leaving markets watchers on edge. From an opening value of 66.518 trillion naira on Thursday, the NGX capitalization slumped to 66.351 trillion naira, marking a sharp decline. Similarly, the all-share index tumbled by 2651.81 points, a sharp decline. Similarly, the all-share index tumbled by 265.81 points to settle at 105,955.13, down from the previous close of 106,220.94. Market sentiment remained negative, with 24 stocks posting losses against 22 gainers. On the losers table were Tantalizer, which nosedived by 9.85% to close at 2 naira 0.93, and Jais Bank, which plunged 9.72% to settle at 3.25 naira per share. U.S. stocks surged, adding over $1.3 trillion. The U.S. stock market on Friday recorded historic gains for the first time since November last year. Gold prices topped $3,000 a troy ounce late Thursday for the first time and ended Friday at a fresh record just below the milestone. Similarly, oil prices ended higher to avoid an 8th consecutive weekly decline. Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation has revealed that only 3% of the Nigerian workers accessed formal consumer credit in the past year, exposing the significant gap in Nigeria's credit system. Speaking in Abuja during the World Consumer Rights Day, Uzoma Nwagba, CEO of Credit Corp, noted that a consumer credit to make a real difference in the economy, it must reach 50% of the country's GDP, amounting to 176 trillion naira. At present, the country falls short with a credit gap of 141.3 trillion naira. He stated that the lack of consumer credit access is not due to insufficient funds, but rather a breakdown of trust in the system. Nwagba pointed out this challenge goes beyond policy and requires innovation. He explained that consumer credit must be made widely accessible through creative approaches, which in turn will attract the necessary regulations, infrastructure, and economic frameworks to sustain it. According to him, consumer credit serves two important functions. First, it is a product that must be structured like any other financial service to reach those who are currently excluded. He noted that innovative solutions such as mobile nano loans, instant credit approvals at purchase points, and digitized savings group records could expand credit access. He also stated that specially designed loan products for women and youth would ensure broader financial inclusions. He described the journey towards consumer credit expansion as long but essential, with the potential to reshape Nigeria's financial landscape and drive sustainable economic growth. You're still watching the news on the Atlantic Television Network. Up next is International Tidbits. While at least 9 Palestinians were killed, including 2 local journalists, and others wounded on Saturday in an Israeli airstrike in Gaza's northern Beit Lahia town, Gaza's health ministry said as Hamas leaders hold Gaza ceasefire talks with mediators in Cairo. Several were critically injured as the strike hit a car with casualty inside and outside the vehicle, health officials told newsmen. Witnesses and fellow journalists said the people in the car were on a mission for a charity called Al-Khair Foundation in Beit Lahia, and they were accompanied by journalists and photographers when the strike hit them. At least 3 local journalists were among the dead, according to Palestinian media. The Israeli military said in a statement that it had struck 2 individuals that it identified as terrorists operating a drone that it said posed a threat to force at Beit Lahia. The military later struck several other suspects who it said had collected the drone equipment and entered a vehicle. The military did not say how it had determined that the individuals it had struck were terrorists or provide detail on the threats that the drone had posed to its soldiers. The incident underscores the fragility of the January 19 ceasefire agreement that halted large-scale fighting in the Gaza Strip. Palestinian health officials say dozens of people have been killed by Israeli fire despite the truce. United States President Donald Trump has stated plans to impose a travel ban on 43 countries, according to a report on Saturday. Newsmen cited an internal memo and officials familiar with the matter. The memo lists a total of 43 countries divided into 3 groups: red, orange, and yellow. Although the list has yet to be approved by the Trump administration, it comprises several African countries with African economic powerhouse like Nigeria, South Africa, Algeria, and Egypt excluded. The red group consists of 11 countries: Afghanistan, Iran, Sudan, Syria, Libya, Cuba, Bhutan, Venezuela, North Korea, Yemen, and Somalia, whose nationals would be barred from entering the U.S. The orange group comprises 10 countries whose visas would be sharply restricted. They include Russia, Belarus, Myanmar, Sierra Leone, South Sudan, Pakistan, Laos, Turkmenistan, Haiti, and Eritrea. The countries in the last group were given 60 days to address concerns. The nations on the 22-country yellow list include Angola, Antigua and Barbuda, Benin, Burkina Faso, Cambodia, Cameroon, Cape Verde, Chad, the Republic of Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Dominica, Equatorial Guinea, Gambia, Liberia, Malawi, Mali, Mauritania, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, Sao Tome and Principe, Vanuatu, and Zimbabwe. The proposal is part of an immigration crackdown that Trump launched at the start of his second term in January. Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky denied on Saturday that his troops were encircled in Russia's Kursk region, where Moscow has regained swathes of land this week, as Russia said it took back 2 more villages in the border region. U.S. leader Donald Trump had a day earlier asked Russia's Vladimir Putin on social media to spare the lives of Ukrainian troops that he said were completely surrounded by the Russian army. Moscow has pushed this week to retake a large part of the land that Ukraine originally captured in its western Kursk region last summer. Zelensky has acknowledged that the situation in the Kursk region is very difficult for Ukraine, but contradicted Trump's comments. Kyiv had hoped to use the Russian territories as a bargaining chip in any negotiations to end a more than 3-year conflict. The UK on Saturday hosted a virtual summit on how to protect any ceasefire in Ukraine, but Zelensky warned that Moscow was intent on prolonging the war and ignoring diplomacy. Putin had this week not committed to an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine proposed by the U.S. instead, putting forward conditions and raising serious questions about the idea. The Kremlin has hailed its troops ousting Ukrainian forces from swathes of the Kursk region, with Moscow on Saturday releasing images of a destroyed center in Sudza, the main 2 occupied by Ukrainian forces for months. Well, moving forward, here now is ATN Sports News. Super Eagles head coach Eric Schell will lead the team's backroom staff to Kigali on Saturday for the crucial 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier against the Amavubi of Rwanda. ATN learns that Malin and the backroom staff will travel to Kigali from Abuja on Ethiopia Airlines. The team's camp for the clash with Adel Amrouche's side will also open in Kigali on Sunday. Charlie released a 23-man squad for the game on the March Day 6 fixture against the Warriors of Zimbabwe on Tuesday. The Super Eagles will face the Amavubi at the Amahoro Stadium, Kigali, next week Friday. The 3-time African champions are still searching for the first win in the qualifying series. They occupy 5th position in Group C with 3 points from 4 games. While Chelsea edged past Manchester City in the Women's League Cup final to win the 4th trophy under Sonia Bompastor and keep the bid for a historic quadruple alive. Bompastor has exceeded expectations since succeeding Emma Hayes as head coach last May, winning 26 of her 28 games. Mayra Ramirez netted an early opener for Chelsea, bundling in a rebound that bounced off City skipper Laia Alexandri at Derby County's Pride Park. Oba Fujino leveled after the break with a stunning strike, but an own goal by Yui Hasegawa restored Chelsea's lead and ended their 3-year losing streak in League Cup finals. City, who were playing the first game under interim boss Nick Cushion following Gareth Taylor's sacking 5 days ago, dominated play after Chelsea's opener. But they were unable to find a way through during the first half as Chelsea's solid centre-back pairing of Millie Bright and Nathalie John stood firm, limiting City's chances to ambitious efforts from the edge of the box. Chelsea appeared to regain control after the interval, but Virginia's powerful strike flew past Hannah Hampton and into the roof of the net before the Hasgawa's own goal handed momentum back to Bompaster's side. They remain in the hunt for the Champions League and the FA Cup, while they have all but secured a 6th successive Women's Super League title, sitting 8 points clear at the top of the table with 6 games remaining. This final marked the start of an intense 12-day battle, with Chelsea and City playing each other 4 times in a row. Pep Guardiola has slammed Fabio Capello's claim that he is arrogant by insisting Manchester City's success in his reign has raised standards in the Premier League. Capello, a former England, AC Milan and Real Madrid boss, said in an interview with a Spanish newspaper that Guardiola's arrogance has cost him several Champions League titles. The 78-year-old Italian also said Guardiola was way too arrogant and presumptuous because he wanted to prove his tactics were the reason for City's remarkable success. Capello claimed the City boss, who previously managed Barcelona and Bayern Munich, had ruined Italian football because too many managers tried to copy his fluid, possession-based style without having good enough players to do so. Guardiola, however, is proud of his record, having guided City to 6 Premier League titles and the first Champions League crown since his arrival in 2016. The Spaniard believes the strength of the Premier League has improved in first time in Manchester, with City now facing a challenge from several teams, including Saturday's opponents, Brighton, just to secure a top 4 place this season. City have endured a difficult campaign after winning the previous 4 Premier League titles and currently sit 5th in the table. Moving on, we bring you entertainment news. Famous American songstress Chloe Bailey has sparked a breakup rumor with Burna Boy. Chloe Bailey, in a recent music cover shared on Instagram, subtly shot her Alex ex, Burna Boy. The cryptic lyrics, which are filled with heartbreak and regret, came after Burna Boy's controversy with Nigerian socialite Sophia Ebueje. ATN reports that Sophia Ebueje had called out Burna Boy for failing to fulfill his promise of buying her a Lamborghini car in exchange for a one-night stand with her. Reacting to the developments, Chloe unfolded Burna Boy on Instagram. Seemingly addressing betrayal and wasted time in a relationship, she said, "Don't know about the other girls you used to deal with, but I do not need to buy a man to give me love to live with, no." Recall that Burna confirmed affairs with Chloe during a romantic dinner date in Lagos, Nigeria on February 6, 2025. Grammy-nominated Nigerian Afrobeat star Divine Ikuba, popularly known as Rema, has revealed the weirdest rumors he has heard about himself on the internet. In an interview, Rema disclosed that he has heard rumors about being part of the Illuminati, worshipping the devil, and drinking blood. The singer noted that these rumors have caused him to lose a considerable number of fans, stressing that some people believed whatever they see online. Rema also explained why he wears pendants in memory of his late father and brother. Nollywood actress Ebun Hodo has spoken out against the categorization of actresses as promiscuous following the controversy surrounding actor Babati and Darasimi, the wife of comedian Landy. The scandal erupted when Landy accused his wife of infidelity with multiple men in the entertainment industry, specifically naming Babati. However, Babati initially denied the allegations but later confessed to a brief sexual encounter with Darasimi, attributing it to a drunken game of truth or dare. Hodo, while acknowledging the incident, strongly refuted the notion that all actresses engage in such behavior. The claim that all actresses sleep around is a false narrative, she stated in an interview. However, Hodo also criticized Arasimi's actions, questioning the circumstances surrounding the said truth or dare incident. Hodo emphasized that while she can only vouch for herself, she believes the vast majority of actresses are dedicated professionals who have earned their success through hard work. And that's the size of our package on the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. We told you that BK says he will not hinder Rivers Assembly constitutional duties. You heard that INEC inaugurates 2027 election project plan committee. You also heard that Tinubu celebrates Osuide at 90. And on business, we told you that stock market investors losses 167 billion naira in NGX. On international scene, we told you that Zelensky says troops not surrounded in Cox region. And on sport, Chelsea beat Man City in Women's League Cup final. Well, moving on entertainment, Chloe Bailey fuels breakup rumors with Burna Boy. That's it on the international and the global news. I beg your pardon for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, you can follow us on our social media platforms: Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. Thank you so much for watching. I am Victor Peter. Do have yourself a good night's rest.